his heat has not subsided, his faculties are quite whole. MI 296. 52, 11. As to the question, is the attainment of cessation formed or unformed, etc.? It is not classifiable as formed or unformed, mundane or supramundane. Why? Because it has no individual essence. But since it comes to be attained by one who attains it, it is therefore permissible to say that it is produced, not unproduced. 18. This too is an attainment which a noble one may cultivate. The peace it gives is reckoned as Nibbana here and now. A wise man by developing the noble understanding can with it himself endow. So this ability is called a boon of understanding. 2. The noble paths allow worthiness to receive gifts. 53. And not only the ability to attain the attainment of cessation but also achievement of worthiness to receive gifts should be understood as a benefit of this supramundane development of understanding. 54.4. Generally speaking, it is because understanding has been developed in these four ways that a person who has developed it is fit for the gifts of the world with its deities, fit for its hospitality, fit for its offerings, and fit for its reverential salutation, and an incomparable field of merit for the world. 55. But in particular, firstly, one who arrives at development of understanding of the first path with sluggish insight and limp faculties is called one who will be reborn 7 times at most. He traverses the round of rebirths 7 times in the happy destinies. One who arrives with medium insight and medium faculties is called one who goes from noble family to noble family. With 2 or 3 rebirths in noble families he makes an end of suffering. One who arrives with keen insight and keen faculties is called one who germinates only once. With 1 rebirth in the human world he makes an end of suffering. CAI 133. By developing understanding of the second path, he is called a once returner. He returns once to this world and makes an end of suffering. 710. 56. By developing understanding of the third path he is called a non-returner. According to the difference in his faculties he completes his course in one of 5 ways after he has left this world. He becomes one who attains Nibbana early in his next existence, or one who attains Nibbana more than halfway through his next existence, or one who attains Nibbana without prompting, or one who attains Nibbana with prompting, or one who is going upstream bound for the highest gods. CD 3237. 57. Herein, one who attains Nibbana early in his next existence attains Nibbana after reappearing anywhere in the pure abodes, without reaching the middle of his lifespan there. One who attains Nibbana more than halfway through his next existence attains Nibbana after the middle of his lifespan there. One who attains Nibbana without prompting generates the highest path. Without prompting, with little effort. One who attains Nibbana with prompting generates the highest path with prompting, with effort. One who is going upstream bound for the highest gods passes on upwards from wherever he is reborn in the pure abodes to the highest gods, becoming and attains Nibbana there. 58. By developing understanding of the fourth path one becomes liberated by faith, another liberated by understanding, another both ways liberated, another one with the triple clear vision, another one with the 6 kinds of direct knowledge, another one of the great ones whose cankers are destroyed, who has reached the categories of discrimination. It was about one who has developed the fourth path that it was said, but it is at the moment of the path that he is said to be disentangling that tangle. At the moment of fruition he has disentangled the tangle and is worthy of the highest offerings in the world with its deities. I.7. 59. The noble understanding, when developed, will these blessings win, accordingly discerning men rejoice exceedingly therein. 60. And at this point the development of understanding with its benefits, which is shown in the path of purification with its headings of virtue, concentration, and understanding, in the stanza. When a wise man, established well in virtue, develops consciousness and understanding, then as a bhikkhu ardent and sagacious, he succeeds in disentangling this tangle. I.1, has been fully illustrated. The 23rd chapter, called The Description of the Benefits of Understanding in the Path of Purification, composed for the purpose of gladdening good people. Conclusion. After we quoted this stanza, When a wise man, established well in virtue, develops consciousness and understanding, then as a bhikkhu ardent and sagacious, he succeeds in disentangling this tangle. I.1. We then said, my task is now to set out the true sense, divided into virtue and the rest, of this same verse composed by the great sage. There are here in the victor's dispensation and who, although desiring purity, have no right knowledge of the sure straight way, comprising virtue and the other two, right hard to find, that leads to purity, who, though they strive, here gain no purity. To them I shall expound the comforting path of purification, pure in expositions. Relying on the teaching of the dwellers in the great monastery, let all those good men who do desire purity listen intently to my exposition. I.4. Now, at this point that has all been expounded, and herein, now, that the exposition as set forth is almost free from errors and from flaws. After collating all the expositions of all these meanings classed as virtue and so on stated in the commentarial system of the 5 Nikayas, for this reason let meditators pure in understanding desiring purification duly show reverence for this path of purification. Path of purification. What store of merit has been gained by me, desiring establishment in this good Dhamma in doing this, accepting the suggestion of the Venerable Sayagopala, one born into the line of famous elders dwelling within the great monastery, a true Vibhajavadan, who is wise, and lives in pure simplicity, devoted to discipline's observance, and to practice, whose mind the virtuous qualities of patience, mildness, loving kindness, and so on, grace, by the power of that store of merit. May every being prosper happily. And now just as the path of purification, with 8 and 50 recitation sections in the text, has herewith been completed without impediment, so may all those who in the world depend on what is good glad-hearted soon succeed without delay. Postscript. This path of purification was made by the elder who is adorned with supreme and pure faith, wisdom, and energy, in whom are gathered a concourse of upright, gentle, etc., qualities due to the practice of virtue, who is capable of delving into and fathoming the views of his own end. Others creeds, who is possessed of keenness of understanding, who is strong in unerring knowledge of the Master's dispensation as divided into 3 piyakas with their commentaries, a great expounder, gifted with sweet and noble speech that springs from the ease born of perfection of the vocal instrument, a speaker of what is appropriately said, a superlative speaker, a great poet, an ornament in the lineage of the elders who dwell in the great monastery, and who are shining lights in the lineage of elders with unblemished enlightenment in the superhuman states that are embellished with the special qualities of the 6 kinds of direct knowledge and the categories of discrimination, who has abundant purified wit, who bears the name Buddhaghosa conferred by the Venerable Ones, and who should be called of Marodasyaka. May it continue here to show the way to purity of virtue, etc. For clansmen seeking out the means to ferry them across the worlds. For just as long as in this world shall last that name enlightened one, by which, thus purified in mind, is known the greatest sage, world chief. Conclusion. The following verses are only in Sinhalese texts. By the performance of such merit as has been gained by me through this and any other still in hand, so may I in my next becoming behold the joys of Tavatayasa, glad in the qualities of virtue and unattached to sense desires. By having reached the first fruition, and having in my last life seen Metya, Lord of sages, highest of persons in the world, and helper delighting in all beings' welfare, and heard that Holy One proclaim the teaching of the noble Dhamma, may I grace the victor's dispensation by realizing its highest fruit. The following verses are only in the Burmese texts. The exposition of the path of purification has thus been made for gladdening good people. But this, by reckoning the Pali text, has 8 and 50 recitation sections. End pop _023. Note 1. It is the Andhakas, etc., who maintain this, for they take the sutta wrongly which says, Ara ant ship is said, friend Sariputta, what is